Welcome to the Save Your Breath show, where we help parents eliminate the stress and aggravation of raising children, whether your child is or your offspring is 5 or 50. I tend to like to offer things that help to make our parenting lives easier. The stress of it all is slowly killing us, and we kind of go along with it because we accept it as part of the territory. We're not understanding that it's killing us. We're just kind of accepting the stress of it all, working through it as best we can, and getting to the end where all of the chronic diseases and things hit us, and all of a sudden it's a problem. I contend that it's not necessary for us to go through all of that if we can catch ourselves early enough to see our way through and eliminate problems before they happen, or eliminate them as soon as we recognize that we have them and have the resources to do so. One of the big issues that happens is postpartum depression. And I am going to ask our guest today to maybe address how, if this is a lingering thing after you feel like you're okay or not. But my guest today is Dr. Shoshana Bennett, and she is an expert on this subject matter. And after 2 life-threatening bouts of postpartum illness, Dr. Shoshana Bennett helped pioneer the field of maternal mental health. She founded Postpartum Assistance for Mothers in 1987. She became president of the California state organization Postpartum Health Alliance, and then served as president of the Postpartum Support International. Dr. Shosh is the author of Children of the Depressed, Postpartum Depression for Dummies, Pregnant on Prozac, oh my God, and is co-author of Beyond the Blues, Understanding and Treating Prenatal and Postpartum Depression and Anxiety. She is the creator of the free app, PPD Gone, and is an executive producer of the new documentary, Dark Side of the Full Moon. She has recently co-founded the Postpartum Action Institute. Today, she has helped over 20,000 women recover around the world through private consultations, teleclasses, and support groups. You can reach her at drshosh.com. Welcome, Dr. Shosh.
Thank you so much, Rowena. I'm so happy to be here.
I tell you, it's been trying up here with the weather we've been experiencing here lately, here in California.
Right.
What's going on there too.
In Southern California as well.
Now, I wanted to get to these, I have some questions here for you because clearly we're so complex as human beings, and people have all these diverse problems that they're working with.
Right.
And postpartum depression is something that you don't hear a lot about it, but when people are in the midst of it, it's devastating. It's not only devastating to the mother that's going through it, but it's also devastating to if there's a spouse, the spouse that's there, and any other children or people who are in the house.
You're absolutely right. It's not just a maternal health issue. It's a public health issue. You know, postpartum depression is nothing to be afraid of, but it needs treatment like any other disorder. I mean, the goal is to treat it as fast as possible because the prognosis for the family is better. Right? The faster we jump on it. So I do want to say postpartum depression is the most common complication of childbearing. It happens more than any other disorder, more than gestational diabetes, more than anything. So it's incredibly important. We're talking about 1 in 7.
It's devastating. It's
yes.
Devastating. I've had at least one friend that I'm aware of suffer from it. And I just can't imagine. And I don't understand why. Why? One of the most blessed events in the world brings on. Well, anyway, let me just ask you a few questions as we go here. What is the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression?
Oh, well, baby blues is normal. Baby blues are the mild, it doesn't feel good, but they're mild symptoms. And it's part of the, considered to be the adjustment to motherhood. I mean, just really normal stuff. So mild symptoms of teariness, being worried, a bit anxious, so certainly stressed at realizing the enormity of the new job of being a mom. But again, considered to be normal. The ways you tell the difference, there are two main ways you tell the difference between the normal baby blues and the disorder of postpartum depression. One way is the severity of the symptoms. As again, with baby blues, it's mild, ups and downs, but generally she feels pretty much like herself, just sort of in and out of, okay. The other way you tell the difference is by the duration of the symptoms, how long it lasts. Baby blues should be gone by about 2 weeks, or maybe at the outset 3 weeks following the delivery. So if even the mild symptoms keep going, it's not baby blues anymore. And she should get some, there needs to be some intervention, not necessarily medication, but she should get some kind of a therapy. She should meet with somebody a healthcare practitioner who truly understands this particular area to help her on her feet.
Yeah, I mean, you literally feel completely not like yourself at all.
No, when you ask a woman with the blues who's having the normal stuff, how are you doing? She might say, well, I'm really tired. I'm getting up, and feeding the baby, or there's so much to do, or I'm really kind of stressed. She might cry in the middle of a Hallmark commercial or something, for no reason, but it's normal stuff. You ask a woman who has postpartum depression how she's doing, she will sound very different. Rowena, she'll say something like, I don't know who this is, but this isn't me. I've lost myself.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it really can be. And, it's not a weakness. It's not a personality disorder. This can happen to the most loving, most intelligent, wisest, smartest mommies out there. There's no, nobody's immune,
Yes.
This can happen to the best of us, and nothing to be ashamed of. Again, the smartest thing she can possibly do is to get herself the right kind of help, not just help, but the right kind of help with somebody who's got the expertise for at this time in her life, and she'll go on with her happy life after she gets that help.
Now, what are a couple of the warning signs of, we call it PPD, postpartum depression?
A couple of the most prevalent would be if she's having a hard time sleeping at nighttime when her baby's sleeping, like any insomnia at all, that is an absolute warning sign.
Wow.
Not normal. Right. No, if she's not able to sleep at nighttime when her baby's sleeping, and I really emphasize nighttime, that is a sign she needs help like immediately.
Well, that's curious. That's curious to me, because so many people just have insomnia anyway. How are they able to know?
Well, hopefully they're getting help for their general insomnia, but if they've got insomnia before and then they have a baby, chances are they, whatever's hanging around often gets worse. If there's a little bit of anxiety after you deliver a baby, it could be like 100 times. So hopefully, but you want to be able to sleep at night so you can replenish yourself. Mommy needs to nurture herself, and if she's not able to sleep, that is a definite warning sign. Another big warning sign is a loss of appetite. If she's anxious, there's a lot of anxiety that often goes along with postpartum depression, and if her tummy is in knots, if she's just so anxious she can't eat, big warning sign. Another one I'll throw in there. You asked me for a couple, but I'll give you another one. If she's putting herself down, if you notice that her self-esteem has dropped. For instance, if she says things like, I'm not good at this, or my baby doesn't like me, or my baby is rejecting my milk, or anybody can do this better than I can. Those aren't normal statements for a new mother. So pay attention if you hear her self-esteem drop.
Huh. Wow. You know,
And there are many others, but
really,
in the interest, yeah, go ahead.
I think that this would be a very tough one to diagnose, because you know the things that you say, people say, well, that's kind of the way I am normally. You know, I don't normally. I mean, let's say there's a woman that doesn't have confidence anyway.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? This is a
I
very
do, but it would be abnormal even for her. You know, so again, whatever's been hanging around, and again, I'm a therapist, I'm a psychologist. So if you tell me somebody's having you know, self-esteem issues in general, I'll go, I hope she gets some help for that too. But it's going to be, but it's going to be even more so.
Okay, so it would be elevated.
It's exaggerated, exactly.
Exaggerated. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Is there any way to prevent it? To prevent postpartum depression?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. There's so much we can do. So much we can do. I'm all about prevention whenever possible, you know, and we concentrate on wellness. Yes, you know, during pregnancy, it's a great time. By the way, the same number of pregnant women can be clinically depressed as postpartum. So the same one, you know, 1 in 7 can be clinically depressed. But hopefully she's doing well during pregnancy. She should still, and if she's not doing well during pregnancy emotionally, absolutely she needs to get help, because it's not good for the growing baby. Depression is not good. And so she shouldn't just try to tough it out. She should absolutely get some help. And also, if she's depressed during pregnancy and she doesn't get help, Rowena, what happens is she's launching, I mean, the chances that she's going to be depressed following delivery are very, very high. Yeah, it's like
it was 1 in 7.
Yeah, 15 to 20%. Huge. It's a huge number. And, you know, I had a client, boy, in the interest of time, I don't know whether I should go into this, but, you know, one of my now clients was 8 months pregnant. She went to her OB and said, I'm having a hard time sleeping. And the nurse just kind of laughed and said, well, of course you're having a hard time sleeping. You're 8 months pregnant. And that was the end of the discussion. Had she asked her why, you know, why do you think you're having, what she would have said is, well, you know, physically I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm running to the bathroom, you know, a little bit more frequently, and I've got a little bit of heartburn, but you know, what's keeping me up are really scary thoughts, and they just keep spinning in my mind, and they don't allow me to sleep. You see, so she went through months of unnecessary suffering, and she needed to see somebody who specializes. So prevention, nutrition, a good nutrition plan during pregnancy. Set yourself up. Who's going to be buying the food? Talk about this with your partner. Talk about the expectations of who's going to be on duty at nighttime with that baby. It shouldn't just always land automatically on mommy. You know, she needs some solid, uninterrupted sleep at night to protect her serotonin level, to protect her brain chemistry, so it doesn't make her, you know, higher risk. She needs emotional support. She can set that up in advance. Somebody to be real with, you know, to talk with, who won't be judgmental or critical, you know. She should have physical support. Who's going to come in and give her regular breaks away from her home, away from the child, so she can replenish herself. You know, those are some of the Dr. Shosh wellness strategy points that, you know, there are definitely more there. I mean, certainly, you know, exercise, certainly. And if she's already suffering, she should absolutely get in contact with a specialist. It's not good enough to settle for somebody within insurance. You know, if you can't find the proper help, somebody who specializes in the perinatal, you know, stuff, go outside your insurance. I mean, it's like if your baby needed something and you couldn't find somebody in insurance, you wouldn't say, oh, well, you know, you do whatever you could in order to try anyway to find the right help.
I love the passion you have about this.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this came direct. I'm an advocate. You know, I know what it feels like not to get any help, you know, and I'm lucky to be here. Let's put it that way. Yes. There are a couple of close calls.
Yes, I read about that. We're so glad that you took this up for us.
Well, thank you. You know, it's so satisfying to be able to help new mommies launch in a healthful way. It just gives my suffering meaning. You know what I mean? Absolutely, it's my passion and my mission, and has been for decades now.
Yes, I can tell. So now, who is at high risk for depression and anxiety following delivery?
So I will say that, again, nobody is immune. This can hit anyone. And our transcultural studies, by the way, are great. And it shows the same statistics, no matter where we are in the world, no matter what society. It's actually quite interesting. But if you've had a personal history of depression or another psychiatric illness, it automatically puts you at higher risk. Even a family history can put you at higher risk. Women who are alone, who are isolated.
Oh,
absolutely. Women who are isolated are very high. Taking care of the baby by yourself day in and day out, very high risk. Yeah. Women who don't have good emotional support or social support, very high risk. Financial issues, big stressors can definitely impact her. So there's the biochemical aspect, what's hanging around in the genes. If she's, if depression runs in her family, certainly she's high. Moms of twins, also very high risk. Teens are high risk. So, there are different, psychosocial factors, we call them, the isolation and the stressors of life stressors, but also the biochemical. So it's a combination of stress. For each woman, there might be a different set of factors that produces the depression.
Okay. Is medication the best way to treat it?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked. There isn't a cookie cutter approach to treatment. So I'm really, really glad you asked. Many women are afraid of going to a doctor because they think the only thing that'll happen is that they'll automatically be stuck on some psychotropic medication, and then maybe they don't want that. And what I want to say there is if you truly need the medication, there's absolutely nothing wrong. That's the smartest thing for you to do.
Yes.
But you asked me if it's the only treatment. No, it depends on what works for you. I'm all about natural whenever possible. Again, if one needs a medication, fine. Sometimes an alternative treatment, a light box or acupuncture or massage or medication. I'm sorry?
What was that first thing you said?
A light box.
Light box.
Like there are two kinds of light therapies. Anyway, so that can be a treatment. But again, whatever combination of treatments, one or more treatments work for any individual woman, because we're all different. I mean, we've got different chemistries. We react to, our beliefs are different. It depends on what she wants to be using as well, and what works in her life. So there are many. So for some women, medication is the very best way for her, and that's what works the best. For other women, it isn't. There are other. But what I want to say here is that I have yet to work with a mommy who doesn't recover. Again, there's nothing to worry about here. The only worry is not to go for help. But if you get proper help, whatever you need in order to feel 100%, grounded and happy and healthy, and you will absolutely be able to find that help and go on with your happy life and enjoy. So, you never want to hold back or just think that you should be able to handle this by yourself and not go for help. Again, this is not a weakness. It's the smartest thing you can do is to get help, and you'll be fine.
So now, just touch lightly again on methods for handling it. Maybe give us 3. I know you mentioned that don't require medication, because big rage these days is to eliminate as much of artificial, big pharma and artificial medication as possible. The natural way to go. So you mentioned light box.
And now again, you don't just want to run off and get a light box. Somebody should be monitoring you. So just because it's natural doesn't mean you shouldn't somebody shouldn't be overseeing you.
Yes, and it
Do you know what I
may
mean?
need a combination of things.
Absolutely. Often it's not just one thing. It's a few different modalities that works perfectly for you.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, we do have data saying that light boxes can be very, very useful, that acupuncture can be very useful, definitely therapy. I mean, you know, the best doctors I know, the best MDs I know, when they're seeing or midwives, or you know, when they're meeting with their patients, if she's not doing well or she's high risk, what the doctor will say or should say is, you know, if you need a medication, I'm ready to prescribe, but first call Dr. Shosh or one of my colleagues and see whether it's even necessary, because once we give a full assessment to that woman, right? I mean, often it's getting rid of the myths of motherhood, and you throw those out and she's on her happy way. You know, like, I shouldn't need any help, and breastfeeding should be easy, and my needs shouldn't matter anymore, and all that garbagey stuff. You know, we get rid of that. We make sure she's got some great support and some exercise and some really good nutrition, whatever. And when she's got that wellness strategy, often that's it. She doesn't need the medication. So maybe she will, maybe she won't in each individual case, but that's what the great doctors do. They'll say, here, you can take this prescription if you need it. First, get a complete assessment and see whether you even need it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then if you would just, we ideally want to think of all mothers having you know, a live-in partner or someone there that's, you know, they're not isolated.
Right.
And so what would you say are a few things that the spouse or the partner or the family members, what can they do to help someone in the throes of postpartum depression? Because managing the person, the mother, for instance, and the baby, I mean, is there anything, some insight you can give them to help them with that situation?
Absolutely. So certainly what you're watching for, if she hasn't been diagnosed yet, you're watching for, again, is she able to sleep at nighttime when her baby's sleeping? Is she putting herself down? Is she crying a lot of the day, or is she just numb? You know, is she unable to function well? Does she just not seem like herself? And then you know, the partner can make her, I mean, the partner makes such a difference in recovery, such a difference.
This is what I'm asking you. What kind of things can they do that alleviate the situation?
You say, honey, you don't seem like you, and you deserve to be happy. How about I'm going to find some good help for you, and I'll drive you, I'll make the call, I'm here for you. We use the we will get through this together. Because if she's depressed, she's feeling all by herself, even if she's got a loving spouse right there. So, you know, we'll get, and the spouse can say, this is not your fault. You didn't cause this. This can happen to the best mommies. And let's just get you the help that you need, and you're going to be fine.
And it's not just happening to the mommy. They need to own that it's happening to them also.
Rowena, that's a very
isolated. You know, if she can see that, well, it's not just you, honey. We are having this. We are.
Yes, as long as the spouse can say it, so she doesn't feel extra guilty for making the. You know what I mean? Because the depressed mommy's going, oh, you know, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking you'd be better off without me, honey, and maybe, you know. So as long as a spouse can say, you know, we're in this together.
There's no way that I can do it without you. Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the for better or for worse part, right?
Yes.
I mean, you know, we need to be there for each other. And, you know, we have so much research on how much, you know, how different the recovery in a positive way can be when the partner is involved and supportive. It can make a huge difference. So the partner needs to be careful not to do any, you know, not to criticize and not to blame and not to, you know, be judgmental. None of that. Just, I'm here for you and we'll get through this. I'll find you the right help.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for those pointers. And I
Sure.
definitely want, was there anything that you wanted to say before we wrap up, or did you get salient points out that you were looking for?
Rowena, I'm used to doing 2 days, if not a week long. So to put this, to squish it all into a few minutes is really challenging. But you asked me some really good questions, and I think we got them, some really important ones. Just don't hold back. I want your audience to know that they should never think that there's something wrong with them, there's something inadequate about them. Not at all. And again, they can very easily get in touch with me if they want some support. drshosh.com. It's drShosh.com. I've got resources everywhere. I also work virtually, by the way, so I work with women no matter where they live. Yeah, I work with women all over the world. So never be afraid to reach out.
I'll be sure and put the link on the show.
Okay.
And I want to thank you very much for being here with us today.
My pleasure. Truly my pleasure. Thank you so much.
And to all of you, I thank you for being with us and listening, and I look forward to seeing you again here next time on the Save Your Breath Show.